Hi everyone, so today I want to show you how to make a swinging easel card. Now this one that I made originally didn't quite go to plan, so I've tweaked it a little bit and it's more of a spinning easel card now. Yeah, so this is what it looks like from the top. Now this bit here should swing, okay? Now unfortunately, because I've put the brad so you can't see the brad on the outside, it does mean that it's also inhibited the swing of the, I mean it does sort of swing if you give it a bit of a tap, but it's not as free as I'd like it to be. But it does make sure that it doesn't spin round. But I'm going to make one today with this, not on acetate. I'm going to do it so that it spins round. Okay, so let's get started. And it does fold flat as well. Just instantly put that in there. So let's get started. So what you need is you need a 5 3/4 by 11 3/4 inch card blank. Now this one is a Card UK Craft UK, what they call 6x6 cards and envelopes, but the cards are not 6x6, they're like 5 3/4 square, so that's what I'm using. You can just go ahead and use a piece of A4 and obviously cut it, to size. So what you want to do is take your piece of card and your scoreboard, and you're going to score, yes, this one measures 11 3/4 by 5 3/4. So you're going to take your card and along the long edge you're going to score it at 2 3/4 and at 5 7/8. Okay, so this line, the 5 7/8 line, is directly in half, and then the 2 3/4, it's not quite even, but there's a reason why we're doing that, but I shall show you that in a minute. So once you've done that, you can put your scoreboard away and you can go ahead and fold your lines and burnish. So this packs down to be a 5 3/4 by 5 3/4 inch card that will fit in a 6x6 inch envelope. Okay, now this one here, again, we're going to fold that in as well. And so that difference there, the fact you've got that difference there, that means that then if you wanted to, you could fold your card and put it like that. Once you've done that, you should end up with a card that looks like that. So now what you want to do is you need to get yourself some pattern paper, and you need some matte paper that is 5.5 by 5.5. This piece is going to go on the inside here. And then you need a pattern piece that is 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. This is Crafts pink Moroccan paper, which is absolutely gorgeous. I've had my eye on this for a very long time, and I finally got some thanks to some friends of mine who gave me them. And this is actually wallpaper, and I love it. It's like a rose gold, and it's just this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful kind of, I don't know what you'd call that effect, but it's beautiful. Whatever it is, I love it. So there you go. So that's that. So that will go there and that will go on there. But we're not going to stick it down just yet because we need to cut our card blank. So for the front piece, you will need a piece of matte panel, which is 5.5 by 2.5, and you will need a pattern piece that is 5 1/4 by 2 1/4. Okay, so that will go on there. To start with though, what we're going to do is we're going to put the card blank to one side, and we're going to take our pattern piece and our matte piece. Now I would advise you use thin paper for this. Do not go using your 200 GSM pattern paper for this. You can if you want to, but you won't be able to do what I'm doing now if you use thick card. Okay, so this is quite thin, and I've made sure I've put tape all over the back. So I'm now going to go and stick that onto there, and then this also has tape all over the back because we're going to die cut this in a minute. So you want to make sure that your matte layer and your pattern layer are thin. If they aren't thin, if they're card and they're quite thick, then what you're going to do is you're going to have to cut your, you're going to have to do your die cutting separately. So literally do one and then line it up and do the next, etc. So I decided I'd do it this way because it just makes things a bit easier. So I'm going to stick this down. Take my die. You need an internal aperture, just a plain circle die, and this one is 3 3/8 across width. Okay, and then I have a border die, which is this one. You could just use 2 nestings if you wanted to, just use a smaller one and a slightly bigger one to make a frame. But I've actually got this frame die, which was from a Trimcraft range years ago, like we're talking 5, 6 years ago maybe. Yeah, and it actually cuts out a really nice little frame like that, which you're gonna need these. Okay, so what you either need to use a frame die that will cut your inner and your outer and actually make a frame like this does, or you can use nesting. So if you've got a die and then you've got another circle that's slightly bigger, or maybe you've got the inside is a plain circle and the outside is a frilly one, whatever you want, but you just need to have an aperture, basically like a frame die that's preferably circular for this. Right, so what we're going to do now, I'm just going to put these to one side, so just instantly while I mention it, while I think about it. So this is literally it's just a tiny bit bigger than the inside of this frame. And that's just because I didn't have a plain circle that was the same side as the inside of this frame. But obviously if you're using 2 separate nesting dies, then that's perfect, because your inside is going to measure the same as the inside of your frame. Yeah, if that makes any sense. Hopefully it does. Right, so what you need to do is you're going to put your die onto your piece of pattern and matte paper that you've put together. And on this die, I'm quite fortunate in that there's a tiny little indent at the halfway point, which is very helpful for projects such as this. So you want to take a piece of washi tape and you're going to marry the halfway line up with the halfway line, excuse me if my head gets in the way, the halfway line along the top, with the top of the card here. You also need to make sure that it's central, top and bottom. So this would be this way around, but it's just so I can see it, I'm doing it this way around. Okay, so when you're happy it's in position, take your washi tape and position it, stick it onto the card. Now I would, if I were you, if you're not confident how sticky your washi tape is, I would advise you to stick it on the die and the inside circle, not on the outside, just in case it leaves any stickiness or it tears the paper or whatever. Okay, so there's my little indents there and there. I've made sure it's central left and right, and so now I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine. Right, so here's my die. Just going to take the washi tape off. That has cut lovely, that's cut really nice, so that's actually cut my section out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my card blank, and on this front piece here I'm going to lay this into position on my card, and then I'm going to put my die back in and I'm going to slot it exactly into place, so where it was, so it kind of fits into the groove that you've cut already. And I'm going to do that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to washi tape at the top here, and again do it on the inside of the circle. Okay, so now I know that's in place, I can now take that away and I can die cut that. So I'm going to go ahead now and die cut this section of my card. Right, so there we go, we've brought the card back out again. I'm going to peel this off again, and then that will take the whole central piece out. Okay, so there's my whole central piece. As you can see, my washi tape did leave a sticky mark, but it doesn't matter because I don't need that circle. Right, so now what you're going to do is you're going to take your pattern piece and you're going to stick that on the front there, making sure that that middle bit there marries up. Right, so as soon as you've stuck your front piece down, you can go ahead and stick the inside down. Right, so now you've stuck the inside down, that's basically going to make up your card blank. So you're going to need a die cut shape of some description. I'm using this, which is one of these Hobbycraft Christmas embellishments from a previous year, and I've just heat embossed it to make it nice and solid. You need a piece of twine, and then you also need your frames. Now I've cut 2 of the rose gold and then 2 white, so I'm going to mat and layer that on top of each other and stick them together to make them a bit sturdier, because you want them to be quite sturdy. So I'm going to go ahead now and stick this down. Right, so next you need to add your spinning element. So I've got a bit of twine, and I'm just going to attach that to the bauble. And then what you want to do next is add a little bit of red tape at the top, not lots, just a little bit. And I'm going to use this thick red tape, and I'm just going to use about whatever the depth of the frame is. Okay, and then we're going to peel that off. And then you're going to take your bauble, lay it in so it's central, or where you want it to be at the top, and just stick that bit of twine down. So then you've got a free spinning bauble in the middle. I'm going to put another piece of red tape over the top. Take the frame you've done, and you're going to put a bit of glue on the bottom and stick it to this edge. If you want to crease this first, then you might do well to do that next. So maybe if you want to score about halfway, make a little mark where it is going to be. So that's where it needs to be, like that. So that's my line just there. And then we're going to put glue on here and stick that at the back there, like that. You just need to leave that so it can dry. Right, so once you've stuck the back down, you then want to go ahead and take your other frame, and that is going to go, you need to make sure this is flat, that's going to go on there like that, and you can also stick it at the top. So I'm going to peel this off like that, and then I'm going to put glue around the front here. And then take the frame and stick it down. Right, you're best to leave it flat until it's dried. So while that's drying, I'm just going to trim off the twine at the top. And then when that's dry, you just need to open it and just fold the back. It's the back frame that's the one that needs to bend, not the front. And your bauble should then spin. Mine hasn't spun very much because I use a big one and I've accidentally trapped it at the top, but you get the idea. So then just need to add your greeting to make a stopper. So I'm going to put it about there. So there you go. And there's your finished card. Obviously if you position this properly, here we go, there we go, it actually moves around and dangles. And so there's your card, and then it folds down. Like I said, you could either fold it this way and put it in your envelope that way, or if you want to bend that back frame, you can bend it and put it that way around. I think for this one I'd probably put it flat like that, and I'd probably put a bit of foam in here just so that this bauble doesn't get too bent. But there's your swinging easel card. Hope you'll have a go. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.